This is a bit of a sad video because, to be quite honest, when the Crew 2 came out, I didn't really ever think this was going to be a thing. I made the video about PvP, and I made that video still expecting PvP to be in the game. And PvP is only, you know, one of the many issues the Crew 2 has. But the Crew 2 right now is dead. I have not played that game in quite literally months. I have not booted up that game like ever since probably like July, I want to say. It was before I went on my like little August like trip and stuff, so it's been a very long time since I've launched that game. Gator Rush is coming out quite literally, I think in a week or two. It's a few days before Horizon, and it's really sad, but the Crew 2 is not in a healthy place right now. Now, I'm not talking about figures and stuff, and I'm not really talking about, you know, stats. I haven't got the stats for player counts, and I haven't got the stats for, you know, how well the sales have been doing. But as far as I'm concerned, the Gold Edition has been pretty much on sale pretty much after launch. I think it was like there was a 3-week gap after launch where the game was full price. Ever since then, it's been on sales, and that kind of, at least to me, indicates that the game's not really selling well, and it's in a bit of a weird place right now. Let's go and talk about the Crew 2, because I want this game to be as best as it can be, and right now, it's really not good. So let's go ahead and talk about the problems. You've heard me talk about the problems quite a few times on the channel. I said before launch, if there's no PvP in this game, everyone is going to stop playing after a few weeks, and they're just going to play Horizon when that comes out. And I don't mean say I told you so, but I did kind of tell you so. Fast forward to now, you know, there's no end game still for that game, unless you're chasing leaderboard times. There's nothing really there for you, and then even if you are, a lot of your leaderboard times are now going to be neglected with this new legendary update that they're going to be putting in. So they're basically going to be putting in gold parts into the game. With gold parts, you can increase multipliers by like double. You can increase nitrous perks by double. So it's basically becoming even more luck based than it was before, and it's really deterring me from even trying the PvP in the game. I'm so disappointed. So let me go ahead and explain what the update brings in Gator Rush. They showed off gameplay and stuff. I'm just going to go quickly brush over that before we continue, because not only do I think the way they've gone around some of the inclusions in this update are really bad, but like I said, it's really putting me off playing the game even when PvP comes, especially with Horizon 4 coming out. And all those opinions I had in yesterday's video are pretty much still the same. I'm a bit more level-headed now because it's obviously not a first impression, but definitely with Horizon coming out, I can't see a reason to go back to the Crew 2, at least until they fix a lot of things. So what are they adding? They're adding hovercrafts. With hovercrafts, you know, comes a bunch of new events. You know, the hovercraft discipline. There's also going to be some new hovercraft types. Obviously, one of the legendary vehicles that you got right at the end, I think it was of the freestyle campaign or something, was a hovercraft, but you couldn't do anything other than roam around in the open world with it. There was no point really having it in the game because it was just kind of just there. They're basically putting in events for it now, and a few more hovercrafts, so you can go ahead and try that. As well as that, there's also a few other events here and there, like hypercar races and jet sprint races, and then they've also adding legendary parts. So legendary parts are gold. Like I said, you get your 2 affixes or perks. I'm just going to call them perks, as easy to say, and then you also get a overall bonus. This overall bonus is pretty OP. You know, you can double your bonuses with this. You can double your nitrous duration, that kind of stuff. It's really game-changing stuff. When PvP comes around, if you face someone in an all gold car and you have an old pink car, chances are you're going to see a pretty big difference in, you know, the car's performance, at least. Now, I already had a problem with drifting in this game because essentially it's not on a level playing field. You basically need to have certain types of perks on your car to even come remotely close to being anywhere high on leaderboards, and obviously that's loot based, and that's luck based, and that's RNG based. And if anyone on this channel has followed the channel for a while, you'll know with Need for Speed Payback, I hated the RNG system. RNG has no place in a full price game like this, and I get it's supposed to be an MMO and all this, and the game's supposed to last, but if the game has enough content, and if the game can suffice the player base with its end game content, you shouldn't need to add these artificial barriers for progression. I just think that's a complete complete waste of time. If you are better than someone else in your lobby and you go into a race with them but they have better parts than you, they're going to win, and that's just not how it should be. I do think that players who put more time into the game should be rewarded, but in the end of the day, how I see it is if you put more time into the game, you're going to be better than someone anyway. So why are you making me grind for these parts? For me personally, I've done everything there is in the game until Gate Rush comes out, but even when Gate Rush comes out, why should I sink more time into the game when there's no end game? It's really, really annoying, and it's really annoying because the developers said that there's going to be enough content to tide us over to PvP, but I'm honestly not seeing their side right now. And this isn't coming from a place of malice. I want the game to be good. I was one of the people before launch really advocating this game, because as a base game, everything I played before launch as a base game was phenomenal. But you obviously going to like all these pre-events and stuff and recording events, you don't know what the end game's going to be like because you're playing a Gamescom demo, and I can only talk about what I've played, and what I played at the time was really good, and I still stand by everything I said in those videos, and I also stand behind the things I said in before launch about PvP not being in there. You know, these are all things that I talked about before launch. I said before launch, if PvP is not in there, it's going to die, and that is literally, the crew isn't in a good place right now. So not only are they adding in more loot-based RNG stuff into the game, which I don't understand, doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's quite clear that people are not a fan of this. You know, just industry-wide at the moment, RNG is kind of looked at as a bit of a bad thing, but fair enough, that's the direction they're going. That's not going to change. There's a bit more to add to this. So they're also adding in a new difficulty mode called Ace mode. This is basically harder than hard. It's kind of like prestige mode from Need for Speed. We don't actually know how hard it is, obviously, because no one's actually played this yet. I don't think there's a public TTS, like public test server, like there is for Rainbow Six Siege on the Crew 2 yet. I might be wrong in saying that though. And as well as this, I believe they're adding in a few more cars, and that's what comes with this update. And can you kind of see why I'm a bit disappointed now? We are what, 2 or 3 months since the game has launched, and we're still no endgame. Still no endgame. How on earth you can launch a game in 2018 with nothing to do once you've finished is absolutely beyond me. You've got this big open map, you know, it's very, very varied. You've got all these types of disciplines and all these types of modes, but nothing to do with them. And it's really sad. You haven't got a Laguna Seca circuit track, and Laguna Seca is modeled on, like, it's there. It just seems like the game isn't finished. It's really sad. I don't want to be saying any of this because I really wanted the Crew 2 to be the game which I sink hours and hours and hours into, you know, but it isn't. It's really sad. I genuinely wanted the Crew 2 to be my game of the year. At the moment, unless, you know, Forza Horizon really lets us down, which they've shown us Endgame, they've shown us Forza Leagues, they've shown us Seasons, they've shown us Forza-thon, which are all things to do with the Endgame, not to mention the game's polish and etc, etc. There's no way the Crew 2 can be my racing game of the year, let alone my game of the year. I genuinely think Horizon's going to be up there with Red Dead Redemption for me. Like, that is how good the experience has been from the demo, and I was going into Horizon thinking it was going to be absolute shit. The exact opposite with the Crew 2. I was going into it thinking this is going to be one of the best racing games of this generation, and it's quite funny how the roles have reversed. You know, I was going into Horizon expecting it to be shit, and it's actually turned out, from what we've seen so far, pretty good, and then with the Crew 2, it's the opposite way around. What can Ivory do to save it? I would say put some endgame in, but it's quite clear to me now they're not doing that till December. When December comes around, when PvP comes out, of course I'll play it because it's free updates and you can't moan about free updates, you know, in the end of the day they are free. But I can already tell what's going to happen. I'm going to go into December having not played the game for months. I'm going to be so far behind in parts and stuff because it is such a grind to get to 280 gold parts at that point, and I'm going to be so far behind. All my cars are going to be behind, and I'm sure that there's still going to be balancing issues with cars like the Huracan. I'm going to go into lobbies and I'm just going to get frustrated. And for a player like me, especially going into third year of university now where I haven't got hours to sink into games anymore, and I've got to pick my time wisely, you know what, I think I'd rather sink my hours in Horizon. And I don't know what they can do, because they're making it more look based, which is harder for players like me. They're making it, you know, I don't understand the direction they're taking it in. If they're only trying to appeal to a hardcore audience, then that's fine. but I can't play this game until they sort something out. Hopefully someone at Ivory sees this and understands that this is coming from a place of wanting the game to get better. It's really sad for me to say this. I'm going to try probably cover Gator Rush, but again, it comes out a few days before Horizon, and it's one of those things, if I get an early Horizon code, then I'm obviously going to be playing Horizon because it's a completely brand new game. It's one of those things, again, with Gator Rush, the timing of it is stupid as well. A few days before one of the biggest racing games to launch this year. Yes, they're both different types of games, but in the end of the day, the crew is known for racing. And Horizon is a racing game, so they are competition whether they're direct or not. I don't get the timing of it. It's also very weird. Do you agree with me? Let me know. You know what I'll do? I'll put a card up here, a little poll, say yes or no, do you agree with me that the Crew 2 is dead? Let me know what you think they could do to undead it, because at the moment I have no clue. And it's one of those things, it's just taking up space on my hard drive at this point. This is a video I had coming for a while, but I wanted to wait till they actually release some gameplay to maybe be proven wrong. Let's wait for Gator Rush and see what happens. I'm going to be playing it on the channel. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, and hopefully, you know, the ace mode and the legendary parts add something different, but the direction they're going in with look-based stuff and everything else, I don't think I can support it. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did and you've got an opinion, share them in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.